So our guest for today, as we get to say it on Saturday, is Miss Celeste Ngeve, talking about self-care. So as we are rounding out our last 7 days of Juneteenth, 19 days of Juneteenth, we're going to try to be more positive. We're going to talk about some things that we can do to kind of move us forward, move us in the right direction. So Celeste, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
We are so excited and so glad to have you, especially again, talking about the topic of self-care. Always my disclaimer that I love to remind everybody is that I am not an expert, so you're getting questions from me as they come in my mind at the remedial level, not understanding. So while this is Celeste's area, the way I ask the question is really going to be how I hope you would ask the questions. Feel free, if you do have some, post them in the chat box. We'll make sure that we share and express those for you too. So Celeste, as we dive into self-care, tell everybody who you are. Introduce yourself to folks. Tell us what you do.
Greetings, beautiful people. I am Celeste Ngeve. I am the director at Rutland Academy, which is where all the cool kids go. I'm also a spoken word artist. I'm a poet. I am an author. I am a mentor. I have a mentoring program, She Speaks Academy. And I'm really a self-care enthusiast. I'm an artist by nature. I love to paint, create things, and write all the time. And I'm just really just honored to be here talking about a topic that is just so dear to my heart. But yes, that's a little bit about who I am.
So cool. As we dive into this topic of self-care, what is self-care? Because trust me, I know I've always struggled with that concept till talking with you. So what is self-care for those who don't know?
So self-care, and for those who know me, I'm also a therapist and a life coach as well. Self-care is all about caring for self, being good to you, doing things that feel good to you and that are in alignment with your positive vision of yourself. So it's doing the opposite of counterproductive stuff. You want to do the things that are very productive for your own wellness and the things that make you feel good, and that is really self-care in a nutshell. And it's something that I think a lot of people think they are being selfish when they do it. And it's just the opposite. It's not selfish at all. You want to practice self-care so you could be a better mother, a better sister, a better lover, a better friend, a better cousin, a better daughter, but really a better you, period. First and foremost, a better you. So that's what it's about. Absolutely.
So let me ask you this, Celeste, and I'm saying this in full disclosure, everybody. So Celeste is my therapist and life coach, right? And I remember one of the first conversations I had with you, it was like, I don't have time for this.
Absolutely, I remember that. Yeah, that is the typical.
So what do you say to people? They're like, well, I don't even have time to worry about self-care. I have so many things that I'm juggling, so many things that are going on. Then how do I make time for self-care?
I tell them always, and like I said in that first conversation, you don't have time not to, because you don't realize that you are burning a candle at both ends. You're not well if you're not practicing self-care. You're just kind of existing. You're going through the moments, the movements. You're on autopilot, and that's not normal. A lot of people don't realize that autopilot is not normal. We tend to think that we get up and we press play and we just go. And it's like, you don't have time not to take care of yourself. And when I say that, people are like, yeah, but you don't have the commitments I have. You don't have, hold up. I have many of those things. Plus, but what I want people to understand is that you have to be intentional about your time, because you're never going to get it back. If you don't want to go to something, don't go. Stop overcommitting yourself to stuff just because you feel like, oh, they're going to be mad if I don't go. They're going to talk about me. But boo, if they people to talk about you, they're going to talk about you anyway, whether you're there or not. So stop putting yourself at the bottom. And so my question to people always is, why don't you think you deserve this? Why don't you think you deserve being good to you? Why don't you think you deserve taking time just for you? What is it about that doesn't feel normal to you? And when did that start? So as a coach, as a life coach, as a therapist, this is what I'm always thinking about. Who told you that? When did you put yourself at the bottom? Because if you don't have time for it, it means everyone else's stuff comes above yours.
So as you say that, and I think especially in this Juneteenth moment, in the season that we're in, I think especially as a Black woman,
yeah,
I was raised that way, that we had to make sure the household ran. We had to make sure we were on point when we were at work and make sure that everybody else was taken care of. As a woman, that's what we are naturally trained to do most times. So how do I change that cycle? How do I make it become something different if I want it to be?
Well, we really have to start thinking about who taught us, you know, our mothers and our grandmothers and our great grandmothers and our surrogate mothers and our godmothers and aunties. What they didn't tell us about the story was, with all that we got to get done, is that they were tired. They were overwhelmed. A lot of them were sick and tired all the time, but they didn't feel like they had permission to say that. And because of that, a lot of them have had health related issues that could have been completely eradicated or avoided because they weren't taking care of themselves. You know, you have so many people, and I believe it started many generations ago, when it was really, as a woman, here is what you're supposed to do. Now, as a Black woman, here's extra layers of stuff that you're supposed to do. And someone created that thought process because we were and we are, as women, very independent people. But what people don't tell you is part of being independent is being able to be well. And a lot of us we're bosses, but we're not well. You're very unhealthy bosses walking around. Yeah, you got the title, you got the role, but you're not well. So at what point do you get well? You know? And so it's funny because a lot of people that I work with, a lot of the women that I work with in coaching and therapy, that is their main thing. Like, well, this is how it's always been done. Well, baby, just because it's been done like that for generations doesn't mean it was done right. Because nobody told us that great-great-grandmother was tired. She wasn't allowed to be tired.
But that was the normal. So if
that was the norm,
is not normal.
Right. So therefore we have to create a new normal. Because if you think about it, other cultures see wellness very differently. And when you think about the African American culture, we kind of just like, you know, make it happen no matter what, you know, be 10 steps ahead. Don't let them see you sweat, you know, keep going no matter what, even when you're tired, keep going. But that is, if you listen to what that says, even when you're tired, keep going.
That sounds
so when I'm tired, right.
Ouch.
Right. So where does that start? No matter what, you keep going. No, that's a very toxic way to think, because no matter what, sometimes I need to pause. I need to stop. I need to lay down. I need to say no. But if you don't ever give yourself permission to change the narrative, to change what the norm was, because we can probably look back at our generations of women and other people in our family and realize I think she was depressed. Oh, right. I think she had all those things going on because she never rested. She cooked for everybody. She did for everybody. I can't remember time she did nothing for herself. And no one really thinks about what that does to your mind, your body, your spirit. We have to give ourselves permission to be well. Imagine how interesting it is.
Is that why Black men, we see them going to the doctor less? You know, I think about, again, when you're talking about where this started, that Black men, oh, I'm all right. I just got this pain, got this ache. Something don't feel right, but I'll be all right. And they continue to go to work day after day after day, because I got to take care of my family. I got to take care of my family. And so it does manifest itself in different ways.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, many years ago, what we learned is strength means keep going. Strength means I don't ever stop. You know, being responsible, being a provider means I got to go, no, even when I'm tired, even when I'm sick. And then what happens is that says everyone else's needs are more important than my own. I'm not supposed to care about wellness. My strength comes from all that I'm doing. No, your strength comes from what you do to take care of yourself. Ooh. That's where strength starts. The people who rest the most, walk on out the door at 3:45 because that's the time to get off, and people be side-eyeing them like, how dare they leave on time? No, you're slick envying that person, but they know that the day is done. I mean, some of us that work to 2, 3, 4 more hours after we're done, it doesn't say that you're such a great worker. It says that you're trying to You're trying to accomplish this thing that doesn't exist, which is you're the perfect employee. You're the perfect boss. Oh my gosh, you're so dedicated. But that doesn't really mean that you're dedicated. No one's going to come give you a star. No one's giving you a gold star for staying later. You may get some praise here and there. But for me, the way I lead my team is I tell them every day, it was a rough day today, y'all. Well, let's go practice some self-care. You know, sometimes we'll start a staff meeting. I'm like, let's meditate first. Because today was heavy. And you're not going to hear nothing I'm about to talk about in front of you with this bulletin board presentation if you're still processing all the crises that we just helped de-escalate today. No one really gives us permission to do that. And so many people have told me, I never heard about self-care till I met you. What is this thing? Why do you do this so much? You know?
For me, self-care was I was either going to go shopping or I was going to take a trip, right? And I was like, I can't do self-care as often as I want to. I can't afford it. I'm a financial advisor. I have to be responsible with my money.
And it's like, it doesn't cost money. Everything in self-care doesn't cost money.
What?
And
What you
I
mean?
know, what? Can you believe?
I deserve this. I deserve to buy fill in the blank because I've worked hard this week. They got on my nerves and I dealt with it. I deserve it.
Which is so interesting because when you start thinking about the different types of self-care, and yes, if you owe yourself that nice little retail therapy moment and you can afford it, and it is in alignment with your vision and your personal goals, go ahead. But understand, stay within that budget, because what a lot of people do is they go do retail therapy when they can't really afford it. So part of self-care, one of the parts of self-care is practical self-care. That is creating a budget, sticking to the budget, organizing your budget, organizing your space. That's a practical self-care type thing. So some people, they go do this I deserve it stuff just because they feel like it. And it's not that you don't deserve things, but you still have to be mindful of what are your goals? And are you acting in alignment or are you being counterproductive? You know?
Yes, you are so right about that, because as a financial advisor, I hear that all too often. I see it.
Yeah.
And again, we have to tie back. A lot of times I tell people we have to tie to what was the goal. If your goal is to get to retirement at this age, then we got to put this aside. For every pair of shoes, every handbag, every trip that you're taking, you're not putting towards that goal, right? And so I say it's a trade-off. What are you willing to sacrifice for it? The one thing that I heard you say, the one word that I would even kind of use to put in a box, something I heard you say earlier was the word dysfunction.
Yeah.
That it became normal. And so sometimes we're living in dysfunction and we don't even know it. And so that stifles that self-care thing. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, we were talking about it because, you know, some people are very comfortable operating in dysfunction, and they don't even know it's dysfunction, you know, because everyone, like we were talking about earlier, everyone always did it that way. Well, that doesn't mean it was done right. It just was the way it was being done. But when you stop and think about it, did those things honor who I am as an individual? Do those things make me feel good? Do they make me feel worthy? Do they make me feel like I'm enough? And oftentimes we've gotten very used to being in family systems that don't really practice and prioritize wellness. So they'll tell you things like, okay, well, go hug that person every time you see them, no matter what. But what if that person has done something that's violated who I am? Right. So I should still hug them because they're my family. No. That's a very dysfunctional way to think. Well, we all forgave them for whatever, but that's dysfunction. That's dysfunction, to keep going, expecting people to keep going, spending time with and being around people that have broken your hearts or made you feel inadequate or made you feel like you're not worthy. That's very dysfunctional. And it's also dysfunctional to say, you know what, I'll sleep when I die. Well, you're going to die sooner than you wanted to. Because you sleep is part of self-care, friends. You know, and I know that's like a really cool little slogan somebody put in a song a few years ago, but let's just really unpack that. You know, I will sleep when I die. I'm not feeling well, but I'm going to just keep working. Why? Why? Who made you so low on the totem pole? Who made you at the bottom? Because that's all you're saying is, I am not worthy enough to go take care of myself.
Do you think some of that came from I'll go back to, it's Juneteenth, that we were always dubbed as to be lazy Black people. And if I don't want to be lazy, I have to do a little bit more. I want to be the first one here and the last one to leave. I'm going to make sure that everything I do, I'm going to turn it in early. So I'm going to push myself harder and harder and harder. That when I'm tired, then that way they know I did the work and they know I'm not lazy. I'm not that Black person, right?
You know, and I do think that a lot of that goes back to that theory, because that's the way our grandmothers, our mothers, our fathers, they instilled that in us because they wanted to make sure that we knew the importance of work ethic. We knew the importance of working hard. But here's the thing. Practical self-care is about organizing your time as well. So if you are organizing your time appropriately, then you could be doing things along the way to get to that deadline way before it comes up, because that's part of organizing. That's part of practical self-care. You don't have to necessarily stay all night to show that you got it done early. You can still get it done early by just doing little pieces along the way. So if it's doing 2 weeks and you get the syllabus today and the task today, why not just dedicate 30 minutes to it every day for the next 3-4 days and have it done way early? But some people feel like, but no one can see it. So I think of the issue with that is, if I do that, no one sees how I strategize. But what is it about needing to show someone? Because those people can't give you validation. You're seeking it, but they can't give it to you. So you think if they see you sitting there working after they leave, that they're dedicated. No, if they weren't gonna give you, they can't validate you. No one person in the world can truly give you validation. You have to get it to yourself. So you're wanting them to see you do it. See how hard I work. And yes, I do think it goes back to, our mindsets from slavery to now. See me, value me. Understand that I'm not that lazy person. Value me. Wow. But we're seeking it from people who can't give it to you. They can't give it to you. I don't care what accolade they throw out there. Whoever they decide that you are in their mind is who you are. Good, bad, or indifferent.
Right.
So often we're seeking something. We're seeking to be seen. We're seeking to be validated by people that can't give us validation. So we have to stop. And that's a very toxic way to think too. I need someone who does not have the credentials to validate me. Well, if they don't have the credentials and only you have them, then why are you seeking them from that person? They can't give it to you. So, I think that causes us to be in this place of panic. That's where anxiety comes from, because we're constantly trying to be the one that gets seen as that hard worker, that dedicated person. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter how hard you work. If someone has determined that you are whatever they think you are, they're not changing that in their minds. They don't care how hard you're working. So only you can truly give yourself that validation. So yes, I definitely think that the concept comes from many generations back, because you didn't want to seem like the person that was just this slacker, this lazy person. Oh my gosh, or the stereotypes we hear about, oh, Black people are always late. They always get stuff late. They don't submit things on time. So you're trying to beat these narratives and beat these myths. But the reality is you can never beat the myths in someone else's mind. And I tell people all the time, stop trying to make people see you that have decided they were going to be blind the whole time with you.
Ooh.
They always knew that they never wanted to see you.
Right.
They wanted to see whatever you represent to them in their minds. So it doesn't matter how hard you're working. If someone truly values you, they're going to want to encourage you to go take a break, go home, rest. Because I see how hard you work. I know how hard you work. You don't have to stay 2 more hours to show me. I get it. But go take care of yourself, so you can be better for everything you got to do tomorrow. Those people who really value you, they give you that kind of narrative. They want to talk to you about that kind of stuff. Look, I noticed that you've been a little uneasy lately. Have you meditated? Taking any walks? Those are people who value you, but they can still, even those people, they can't validate you. Only you can give that to yourself. So we have to stop saying, see me, see me, see me, see me. By people who decide that they were going to be blind with you the whole time. So
Celeste, if I'm at this point that I'm like, okay, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, and I want to stop, but I don't know how to tell people I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this extra assignment at work. I don't want to go to your baby shower or your wedding or your whatever. I don't want to work on this project. How do I tell people that?
You know, that is such a great question. People ask me that all the time. Last year, I wrote a book called Calm in the Chaos, Who Heals the Healer. And one of the purposes of that book is because there are so many beautiful people that take care of everybody else and take care of themselves at the very last. And the problem with that is that you're still wanting to make sure you preserve someone else's feelings over your own.
Ooh.
That is baby number 4 or 5. You went to the first baby shower by baby number 4 or 5. You don't want to do it no more. So just say no. Just say no. Well, she's going to be mad. Well, she was going to be mad anyway. And let's be honest, how many people are really inviting you because they truly want your company and you being there as you? Or how many people invite you because they know you bring good gifts? Not everyone is inviting you because they really want you, your presence, you and your wholeness to be there. They want you to bring whatever you could drop off. They don't really care how long you stay. So unless it's somebody, and I tell people all the time, you know, create a care budget, a budget of things, people, organizations that you're going to care about, that you're going to put all your whole self into. And anything outside of that, you just say no to it. Now, saying no is so liberating. Because when you start saying it, it's going to make people a little uneasy at first because they're going to be like, well, Celeste, you must have something else to do. No, that's my self-care day. Oh, well, Celeste, you can do that any day. No, actually, I cannot. See, the thing is, you have to teach people how to treat you, and you also have to teach people how to value your time because they never will. They'll think that you could just put this off because they give you a bigger amount. They'll tell you they'll pay you more. And realistically, if you're so easily motivated by money, and I'm not saying money is not important and don't make the world go round, you don't have to pay for stuff, and please don't take that from what I'm saying. But if money can easily deter you from taking care of yourself, that means that your time can be bought. Your time, your energy, your self-care moments, all that can just be taken away because for the right price tag, I'll forget about me. Now, I need to take care of me, but for the right price tag, I'll forget about me. Well, if you do that enough, you're very overwhelmed and you're very tired. So just start saying no, and stop making up little lies to make it feel better. Because I think we're very, very, especially the women of us, these women of us, us women in the South, we want to make it sound so pretty because we've been told, oh, just say yes. Oh. Let me tell you something. I say no so much now that people don't even question it no more because they realize she said no. She really mean that no, baby, because, but you know, and I just think that it's so liberating to say no because that's you taking your power back. That's you saying, my time is valuable. I am worthy, you know? And why, and is this person in my care budget? Let me look. Ooh, they're not in it. Nope, can't do it, sis. Sorry, wish you the best at your event. And just let it be. A lot of times we go to things we didn't really want to go to. We're slick looking at the person sideways because we really didn't want to be there. And we're slick judging them. I don't even know why she had a white party. I don't even like myself white. And here they look at that girl. She got on cream. That ain't even white. And those shoes tan. We're slick having all these thoughts in our head. And we could have easily just not been there. No one made us go. You know, they send out RSVPs. It's just easy to say no.
Yes.
I know. And let that be it. And then sometimes people, you know, because they're so used to you always being available. See, that's the thing. No one values you in your time until you stop being available. And what that means is they benefited greatly from you not taking care of yourself.
Ooh, ouch.
So they benefit from you never saying no. That means I'm never taking care of myself, so I'm always going to be available. It happens with family systems. It definitely happens in relationships. You know, a lot of us have been in toxic and unhealthy relationships before, and the person, they just love you, always saying yes, you're always available. And so then they start seeing you not as a equal, but they see you as that safety blanket. They can just kind of call you every now and then, make sure they can put it back over their shoulder. Oh, you still there? Cool. Hey, I just want to check on you. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, But then they don't really have any time to really satisfy and give real depth to you. They can't give the time to you. They can't give that energy to you consistently. So they have benefited greatly from you not taking care of yourself. And the moment you start changing that, people be like, oh, is that you? Wait. No, you're the yes person. Hold up. You're supposed to always say yes. Well, are you okay? Are you sick? It's like, no, I was sick, but I'm well now. So you gotta get to know this whole new me, this whole new wellness me, this whole new self-care Sunday, self-care Saturday, make it happen Monday, turn it up Tuesday, wellness Wednesday, therapeutic Thursday, feel good Friday, back to self-care Saturday, self-love
Yes.
Sunday. When you get to where you're doing that so often, people be like, dang, this is different.
Hashtag life goals.
Exactly, right? And you know that old quote it still stands. Those who matter won't mind, and those who mind don't matter.
Yes,
So
you are
your
so right about
people,
it.
you know, because my people know I'm gonna be doing me. Look, I might be painting, I might be writing poetry, I may be sitting in the park just making animals out the clouds. Don't interrupt me. So they don't take it personal, you know.
Mm.
With
So
those,
Celeste, I know
yeah.
for me, a couple of things that I have done. One, typically Saturdays are my day. I try my best to check out Saturday. I typically work-wise, I will do a workshop for usually like churches and nonprofit. They'll do different financial workshops and things like that on Saturdays, and I understand those schedules. And so, but typically I don't overbook myself on Saturdays. So that way that's my time. The other thing that I do, my phone literally lives on vibrate. Like I don't even know what my
I
ringtone
love
is
it.
anymore because when I'm at the office, it's connected to my headset. So if I'm not on that phone with a ring, I can catch it that way. And so it's ringing in my earpiece, not out loud. And when I'm at home, I want to be at home. And typically I get home usually later in the afternoon, 6, 7 o'clock most times. And when I'm at home, I was like, that's time that me and Robert are like, hey, how's your day? So my phone may be in another room and I don't hear it even going off. If I happen to have it in my hand and see it, I may get your call, but most of the time I'm going to miss it. And
Right.
so for people who don't know what self-care looks like in those small doses, give me some other examples of what is self-care. How can I even implement that in my life?
Okay, so let's talk about that because I love what you just said about the phone. I think we're in such a microwave, generation where we got to have everything accessible right now, all the time, right now, and that's not reality. That goes against wellness altogether. Sometimes you got to know how to tune out. So when you think about the different types of self-care, so you think about, okay, so I'm gonna talk about 6 different types of self-care right quick. So there's spiritual self-care, and with spiritual self-care, you're doing your meditation, you're praying, you're going, you're going into your prayer closet if you have one at home, going into your worship space. Sometimes spiritual self-care is just being one with nature, going to sit on a blanket and just being in nature, just being grateful for that space, that moment. That's that spiritual self-care where you can just really self-reflect. Am I living my best life? If not, what is in my way? And who do I need to get to help me with this? Right? So that's your spiritual self-care. When you start thinking about social self-care, this is very important too, because that's when you're tuning in with people that are on your care budget. They're in your care budget. They're your list of people that you really care to spend your time with. You want to laugh with the people that you can unbutton the top of your pants when you're full and you can just, woo, girl, I'm full. And I can keep laughing and talking with. Those are people, that's that social self-care. You need that date nights, time where you spend with your significant other, time where you spend with the people that just make you feel good about who you are, and they don't require anything from you, just your presence. That's social self-care. That is very necessary. Mental self-care is when you really think about like reading and going to a play or going to a museum and just kind of feeding your mental space. Some people like to do puzzles or just kind of be in their own space because it feeds their mental wellness. Okay, so mental self-care is very important as well. We talked a little bit about practical self-care, and practical self-care gets into the budgeting and the organizing and making sure that you're doing things that are practical for your life. Practical for your life. Okay, not somebody else, not your neighbor, not your girlfriend, not a person on Facebook who you say your friend, but she really ain't your friend. Not them. Not them. Your life. Okay. When you think about physical self-care, you think about walking, drinking more water, staying hydrated, really taking care of your body, getting enough sleep. People don't realize how much is tied into your sleep. I love my Fitbit. I wear it every single day, all day. I sleep in it. And when I wake up, before I even get out of bed, I pray. Thank God for waking me up. And then right before I meditate in the mornings, I look at my app to see how long did I really sleep. And how much, if I think I got 7 hours, but how much of that time was really dedicated to sleep? And you'll find a lot of times that you woke up 5 or 10 times during the night and you were up about 9 or 10 times, or, and sometimes you were up like, 25 to 30 minutes. Well, that took time from what you thought was your sleep time. So physical self-care is extremely important. Now, emotional self-care is extremely important. I think we often overlook this. And emotional self-care is when you realize, I need more help. I need a therapist. I need a life coach. And I love when people call me with that. And this is what I want people to understand. You are the most courageous people I know. Because it takes so much courage to tell somebody else, hey, I'm gonna need some support. I'm gonna need that, And I had to do that when I started working on my physical wellness. I was like, I need a coach. I need a trainer. Look, I got to get this stuff together. But emotional self-care is really about writing in your journal, talking to that person that you really trust, and really find out some different ways to really heal those emotional wounds. And a lot of us have emotional wounds that really started when we were younger. Ooh. And now in adulthood, they're showing out and they're showing up and they're getting all in our way. Ouch. And so you see a lot of it on social media and a lot of people's posts. And so you want to really think about that. So that was spiritual, social, mental, physical, practical, and emotional. So those 6 areas of self-care. And sometimes that may look like you taking a bubble bath. And I was talking about, I think we were talking earlier, and it's really important to develop a self-care action plan as a family.
Ooh. What does that look like?
So that really looks like mom, dad, kids, whomever, sitting down and saying, okay, let's talk about some things that just make you feel great, make you feel amazing, things that you would just love to do as often as you can, and you lose track of time doing it. Okay, we got those things written down. Great. Let's talk about our day-to-day schedule. How often do you feel like it would be good for you to integrate some of those things in your schedule? Well, sometimes you may find that the kids might say, when I get home, I kind of want to just, zone out and play my game for like 30 minutes and then do homework. Well, that goes against what some people think, because they think, no, kid comes home, homework, eat, shower, bum, 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 bum. But what if that doesn't work for everybody? And we don't really take enough time to really look into what self-care looks like for other people in our family, nor do we realize that the kids that are growing up now are dealing with stuff that we never dealt with. Ooh. So yeah, they too need to come home and unpack all that stuff. You may find that your husband, when he first gets home, he just wants to go out there in the shed where his cars are and just play with his parts of the cars or whatever his pleasure is for about 30 minutes, and then he's ready to talk to everybody. But if we never talk about what that looks like for them and what they need, we all are in each other's way when we first get home, and all of us need a break, but we don't talk about it. And you may find that as a woman, you may want to come home and just take you a bubble bath by yourself, no matter what time you get home, for 30 minutes, and then get to everybody else. If everyone has something that they do when they get home and everyone respects each other's boundaries within that, you find that everyone becomes more well together.
So I have a confession. Something you said triggered, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe that's why I did it. So I have always had this thing, when I get home, I pull in the carport, and usually it's because I'm listening to talk radio. And they were finishing a conversation and I wanted to hear the rest of it. So I would sit in the car when I would get home. And this is even before Robert and I moved in together. I would sit in the car, and sometimes I would find myself, I'm sitting in the car an hour later. And I was like, I was out here a long time. No, that must have been really, I blame it on the radio. It must have been really good. But then sometimes I realized that I pull in the driveway and I don't even have the radio on driving home. My commute's like 7 minutes tops. So I was just thinking and clearing my mind, and I was still sitting in the driveway. Well, I didn't realize it till Robert and I moved in together. And he's like, why are you in the car? What's wrong? You okay? And I was like, yeah. But for me, that was my decompression time. And that was my way of almost cleansing myself from whatever else was going on outside of my house. I wanted to leave in the car. So when I did come in the house, I didn't want it. I was like, okay, I'm done. Check up. Michelle is turned off. Shell is turned on, and I can separate the two. And that's kind of what I do.
And you probably didn't realize that you were doing self-care. That is a wellness practice, because you have to know when you need to kind of just woosah. For me, I'm really big on meditation. I meditate when I get up. I meditate before I go to sleep. Sometimes I meditate during the middle of the day. And now it's also working out. So I'll take brain breaks throughout the day. So if I've been focusing on something and all I'm doing is this for 2-3 hours, I need a brain break. I give myself 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes 15. And I need to just go work out, walk, do my thing, tune out from that thing. And when I come back, I'm so much more productive.
Mm.
Well, if we don't give ourselves permission to have brain breaks, we won't take them. And then we'll get mad at people when we see them taking them. We're like, what do they do? How do they have 15 minutes to themselves? How? Because they took it.
Ooh.
And we can all do that. It's not like it's something that we can't do, you know, and sometimes it may be a 5-minute brain break. It may be a 3-minute brain break, whatever. You know, when I train my teachers, I always say the same thing. Hey, we need to take at least a 3 to 5 minute brain break from time to time with the kids, because sometimes they need a moment. Sometimes you need a moment. Stop not giving it to yourselves, okay? Sometimes it may look like us having a dance party. We put music on, let kids dance and get the energy out, and then they like, you know, showing you all new things. And you're like, okay, guys, the brain break is gonna end in about 30 seconds. So at least then you're winding them down. You let them know, hey, we're coming to a close of this. But now they can be so much more focused because you gave them a moment when you realized it was getting a little too, you know. And so we all need that as adults. We need that as kids. And so it's just unfortunate that so many of us operate in not ever taking those moments, you know?
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because right now, because I know I'm getting like this more recently. Yeah. I think I find myself getting like this because of everything going on in the world. And for Black folks, this isn't new to us, and it's always been an ebb and a flow. But at this point, we're, like you said, all the hashtags, right? George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud, it's exhausting. And so I find myself being emotionally exhausted and frustrated more often than not. How do I take a self-care moment and let some of that go? Because for me, it's that I mentioned on one of the other podcasts, I typically live on a light simmer all the time. And so I'm always waiting, and my third ear picks stuff up when people say stuff, you know, those coded words. And so I always hear, and so I find myself now living almost like right at boiling. I'm right there. How do I pull back and practice self-care in this social justice world and space that we're living in, where it seems to always be on?
I think one of the most important things is to realize that, you know what? I don't have to be tuned in the whole day. Some days I might not need to look at social media. And it's really not healthy for us to be so close to the simmer, because it won't take much for us to pop. And so if you know that you're in that space, you're going to have to pile on way more self-care and say, you know what? Social media is too much for me today. You know what? Talking to that one relative that always says something quite left and it's going to make me feel some kind of way. I can't talk to them right now. You know, I know I'm supposed to go do this thing after work, but I'm really still, my spirit is so heavy about these people that are losing their lives and these mothers who no longer have sons and daughters. This is too much for me, right? Take the time to just do for yourself in that moment. That is not you being selfish. And people may see your silence as you're not caring. Your silence, and whatever they see you as, you can't worry about what they see you as, because they're going to talk about you anyway. So the reality is this: take the moment to focus on your own wellness during these times. Yes, it is very, very draining to hear about yet another person that was unarmed that was killed today. Yet another person that looks like you could have been your cousin, your uncle, your relative, your brother, your sister, that is gone again. And like this, like you said, this is not new for us. And so I think that the unfortunate thing is that we have to be very mindful to take care of ourselves by saying, right now, this is a bit much. Now I need to step from it. I know there's a rally going on, but every rally is not for me. Let me step back. Let me just do some stuff for me. Let me turn off all the news stations. Let me just be in my space. Let me go meditate. Let me go take a walk. Let me go sit in nature. Let me just go talk to God. Let me, and whatever comes up, feel okay. Give yourself permission to be in that space. If it's tears, let them come and let them come out. If it's you screaming, because I think that's very healthy to get to be in a very safe space and just scream. Have your own moment with it, because the reality is it stays in us, and we're just waiting for one person to say the wrong thing so we can be like, blah! And it's like, they don't even understand where all that came from. And it's like, this wasn't really for you. It was for all the other people and all the other times I've been quiet when I really wanted to say something. I really haven't been taking care of me right now. So you almost want to apologize, but then because of the space you're in, you're like, well, she get what she get. I said what I said. But the reality is that A lot of us, this is, and I really want a lot of our white friends, our white allies, our white comrades, the white people, the non-black and brown people to just understand is, we don't want you to come and tell us how you're going to fix it. We don't want you to tell us how to feel about our blackness. We don't want you to ask us, what can I do? We really don't. We really want you to figure that out, because we're not okay. We're not okay. And we have to work so hard to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves so we can even be semi-okay, knowing that you're probably going to hear another hashtag. You're probably going to hear a new story. You're probably going to see another video. You're probably going to see new photos. Like, that's our life every single day. And I just want to encourage people to understand, especially our non-black and brown people, to understand that this is a lot. You're hearing about it and you're feeling so outraged right now, but this is every day for us. This is all year for us. This is every month. This is every day. We can't turn this off. This is always a revolving story, something that's always happening, and to understand, really, sometimes we just need you to stand with us. Don't try to fix it. Don't tell us how to feel. Don't ask us why we're not louder, and so sometimes you have to know, in this moment, in these times, take care of yourself. Step back from the computer. Turn it off. Don't talk to that person that's too opinionated, because they're gonna get on your nerves, and you're likely gonna curse them out. Use some very colorful words, and they're not gonna understand where they came from. Go to sleep. Go for a walk in your own space. Just go be to yourself. Take care of yourself. And I need people to understand that we need to do that now more than ever, but we should be doing it all the time, because injustices are not new. Like, we know them. We know the stories. It just be another name, a different hashtag. We know these things, and we don't get to turn it off. We don't get to rally for just a moment and then go back to being okay, new thing, because it's revolving for us. This kind of stuff is always happening. So that means that's why we have to take care of our wellness so much. We got to practice self-care so much. And yes, if you know you're right at the boiling point, stop talking to so many people, because somebody gonna get it that wasn't even trying to get it. Step back, listen to music, do something that makes you feel good. Tune into those things and do that way more. If you want to do 2-3 brain breaks today, you're going to need to do 6 or 7. Okay. You're not going to, because these are not times where it calls for you to do what you've been doing, because now it's heightened, and you got people asking the question, what can I do? And I know people are well-meaning in that, but the reality is, we don't really want to help you figure that out right now.
Right.
And I think that people need to have those kind of discussions. Like, I don't have time to compartmentalize everything I'm feeling, put it to the side, and give you a narrative of all the stuff you need to do, and what movies to watch and what books to read.
Right.
So some of us, we need to just stop talking to people. Some of us, we need to just turn off social media for a few days. Some of us, we need to go take some walks. Some of us, we need to just go sleep, get some rest. Some of us need to just stop responding to stuff on social media, and those cousins and those relatives that say silly stuff that just makes you want to go ham. Don't do it right now, friend. There's nothing that says you have to tune into all those things. Unsubscribe to all those gossip trails and those gossip things that constantly flooding your mind with all this stuff. You could step away from that. You could just say, I'm not available, and not be available for real.
Right. And really just not be available. Like, it's okay.
Not be available. It's okay. It's okay. Because here's the thing, sometimes we're not in a good space, and you're going to get what I give you.
Right.
And it may not be great. So let me not do that to you or me, because you could be a professional situation that I really need to care about. You could be a potential client or a potential person I'm going to be working with. So I don't want to give you that. So let me just say less. Let me excuse myself and understand. I'll reschedule with you another time. Yeah. I'm gonna get back with you, but not right now.
It's interesting you say that, because I think about where people are now in this social justice environment, and it does. I see people being frustrated all over, right? And I'm using your techniques. I listen and I slowly pull away. I have certain amount of time I spend on social media. So somebody may respond to me and I don't respond for hours, because I'm not even looking at it, right? But the one thing that I notice that frustrates me almost more than anything, it almost makes me have just a twitch when I hear this or see these words. People giving out assignments for what you should do, what your organization should do. in this environment. It's like,
Mm.
and it doesn't matter whether it's dealing with our social justice issue, with dealing with police reform, or if it's anything
Mhm.
around, hey, you know, the business alliance, y'all should do all these things, right? And it's funny because for me, I have learned how to adjust and how to respond to those comments. And my simple
Mhm.
response usually is, we would love to have you come provide that service. And because I'm going to stop, because I already know here's a box of what I will do. And that's all that will
Right.
live in it. And it reminds me that I learned this lesson years ago. And I had to kind of go back into that tool bag and say, oh yeah, I have been able to do this. When I used to work at the credit union, and it was Christmas
Mhm.
time. And the credit union at the time, you know, years and years ago, it was very family oriented. We were very small groups. Everybody would put up a tree, we would bring our own decorations, bring our own music.
Mhm.
I used to remember all the time, people was like, why do y'all play any music for Hanukkah? Why don't y'all play any music for da-da-da? And the response is, bring us a CD. This is what staff already own. The credit
Mhm.
union didn't buy the CD. And not once did anybody bring us any CDs. The only person who decided to volunteer, and he would do this sporadically anyway, was Dr. Walter Allen. He would come in and just play music. He would bring the
Mhm.
saxophone, the violin, the flute, whatever. And it wasn't just at the holidays. It was just a Friday. He wanted to get out of the house, right? But
I love
nobody
it.
would ever bring us their music that they complained about not hearing.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
for me, so that resonated so much more with me as working at an organization, the Business Alliance, and doing so
Mhm.
much heavy lifting, that everybody has an assignment for you.
Mhm.
How do people step away from that and say, no, that's just going to be one more burden I have to carry, even if it is a great idea, I just can't do it.
Mhm. I think we really do exactly what you just said. No, that's a great idea, but that's not for me right now. No, I don't want to do that. And we got to remember something. A lot of people like to be a part of the progress, but not the process.
Ooh, you
So
better
they
say
want to
that.
be a part, they want to be a part of the glitz and glamour and where the cameras are showing and ooh, these great things. Ooh, look at what all we did together. But they don't really want to be a part of the process, the boots on the ground work. And for those of us that create change and spark change and work really hard behind the scenes to make it all happen, we're revolutionaries, whether we consider ourselves or not, because that's exactly what a revolutionary is. They spark change, they create change, they do something about it. They see the problem and they work hard to develop solutions so that they can help fix that problem. So it no longer is a problem, right? So unfortunately though, people a lot of times just like to have something to say, but they don't really want to be a part of what it takes to make that solution happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what we have to learn how to start saying is, like you said, we would love to have you volunteer, or no, that's your assignment for me, but that's not my assignment for myself. But thank you, but no. And be okay with saying no. That's not in alignment with my vision for myself. That's not in alignment with what I already have planned to do. And you know what? We already have a plan, but you know what? If you like to add to the plan by coming and do the boots on the groundwork, the behind the scene. Now you're not gonna, then you can't put this on social media now. Now you got to lay some ground rules. And when you start saying that kind of stuff, they're like, I don't get to tell people I help the homeless.
Ooh.
But I
Ooh.
fed some people. I don't get to make a picture about the pain I made for them.
Ooh.
Well, I don't know how I feel about that. Well, then you're not really trying to be a revolutionary. You're not really trying to be a part of the process. You only want to be part of the outcome progress. You
Ooh.
want to see how we progress, how we came from this, how it was a problem and we had all these solutions in place. And then look at our pretty progress. You want to be there for the optics. But here's the thing, we don't need more talkers in the revolution. We need more doers. And that is in every organization, that is in every career field. There are educators sometimes that don't want to do things different than what they've always done. They're like, well, y'all should do this with your professional learning. It sounds like you have some good ideas. Would you like to be a part of this committee so you can help us develop it? Oh, well, and so you have to realize that some people really love the outcome. They like the outcome, but they don't want to go through, they don't want to be a part of the process. They roll your sleeves up, the stuff that's not going to be on social media, the stuff that we're doing to really help people behind the scenes. And you need people in the world that are going to be willing to do the work and not just talk about it. These slick talkers, that's what adds to people's stress. And none of us need to be stressed out. If you are working hard and you're boots on the ground, I respect you. I honor you to the end of time, because that's the kind of person I am as well. And I just get to where I just don't listen to people that are not those people. They can't tell me about the work if they're not doing the work. They can't tell me about how to make it happen if they're not doing the stuff to make it happen. So we have to be very mindful. Part of self-care is also tuning out from the people that are not in our care budget. Remember, we're going to create a budget of people and things we care about. If you're outside of that, I don't have to listen to what you're saying. And I'm not going to subscribe to what you're wanting me to do because it makes you feel better to tell me that.
Yes.
Like, you know, and I think we have to remember that, like, we are all worthy. We're worthy of, you know, all of it. But most of us who are really doing the boots on the ground work, we're like, if the camera's around, it's around, but I ain't looking for it because I got work to do. I'm working too hard to be worrying about who taking pictures and recording this right here. I got, you know, I'm making phone calls, I'm sending emails, I'm doing the stuff that is going to take time. Right. And so we have to just remember that people's plan for us is not our plan for ourselves, and it's definitely not God's plan for us. So, you know, unless you done been talking to my father lately, your advice isn't needed. You know, we have to be okay with saying no. God didn't tell me that. Let me search. God signals. Nope, not getting one. So what you have to say is not really in alignment with what God telling me to do or what I need to do for myself. So no, just say no. Reject that whole thought process, because that is what keeps us so stressed out. And we as a people, as women, as human beings, as men, as people that are really doing the boots on the ground work, no matter what organization or club or position you hold in anything that you do, you don't need that stress. You don't need it. And you don't have to have it. I know people say, well, she's older. Okay. So she's lived longer, maybe possibly doing the wrong things too. That don't mean I have to subscribe to what she's saying to me all day. I can say, I respectfully decline where you're coming from, but I thank you. You don't have to be disrespectful. Just decline. You don't have to tune into all that stuff, because that's what keeps us worked up and all stressed out and wondering what they're going to say to us when we see them at church.
Right.
They're going to say whatever they want to say anyway.
It's funny you say that, especially talking about older people. Though, one of the phrases or sayings that sounds really good and I think about a lot is that, well, it's time for y'all to carry the torch. This time for the young people to carry the torch and do the work. And I say, well, no, I just need you to light my torch. You got to still carry yours, because your torch is not my torch to carry. I just need you to light my torch, and then let me see where I'm going my own path, right? And so,
be okay with doing that. Yes. Be okay with doing that, because there's so many elders who don't. We got some beautiful elders that want to light your torch. Not only do they want to pass it, they want to light your torch and continue doing their work in the process of watching you do your work and seeing how they can empower you to be better. And those are the elders that you need to tune into. Those are the elders you need to sit at their feet and be like, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. But it's the ones that really don't have that to give you, and they just want to shift it. That's not always necessarily something you have to subscribe to. You do respect your elders. Now, I ain't gonna never say disrespect our elders, but we don't have to subscribe to everything that they're telling us to do that's along with their vision. Our vision may be totally different. Our mission may be totally different. And that's okay. That's not a bad thing. That's not a curse word for you to have a different vision from an elder that speaks to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But you know, it's funny because I think so many people I'm saying that because I'm pointing at me initially. I didn't know what my mission was. I'm one of those people that it was very difficult for me to find something that I enjoyed. I found a lot of things I was actually good at doing. And then I would try stuff just because I'm the person, I didn't say no, right? And it wasn't that I didn't want to do it. It was that, sure, I'll try it. And I'm that person now. I'm the person that you can put whatever food in front of me, I'll try it just to see if I like it or not. I'm the person you say, let's go somewhere. I love a good trip. That's why I love to travel. So I'm very exploratory in that fashion. But I also found it to be true in my life's purpose. And so it took me a while to find where my purpose was, because I would try so many things. But then what happened is that I ended up carrying all this other stuff that I didn't necessarily like, but I was still good at doing. And I was like, whoa. So I had to slowly back away from some of those things to figure out, here's where I want to spend my time. Here's what my purpose is in life. But it was difficult for me to find. So what do you say to somebody who's like, I don't know what my purpose is. I'm just out here floating. How do I find my purpose?
There is absolutely nothing wrong with trying things until you find out exactly what you want and what makes you feel good. But I will say, be mindful about your explorations. Sometimes we explore in areas that we know, we get a sense of feeling in the beginning that ain't going to be good for me. But we're like, well, I'm gonna try it anyway. Don't, because you're getting that sense of discernment early for a reason. So stay away from things that you already feel like it's gonna be like a little, ooh, I don't think I need to go in that route.
Or
But
dating
there's
people I
nothing
shouldn't date.
wrong with,
Or dating people I shouldn't date. Oh, okay.
or dating people you shouldn't date, because so many of us do that. Let's go there.
Yes.
Because when we think about emotional self-care, we have to think about, does this person make me feel good about who I am? Not good in connection with them. Because you see, we have to stop looking for people to complete us. We need to be like, you can be ketchup, I can be mustard. So we're good together, but I ain't gotta have you. Okay?
Right.
You don't complete me. And I really want people to understand that, like, and it's a beautiful thing to be, oh, he completes me. No, you need to be complete when you meet that person. Because otherwise you'll be expecting them to do something that they're not responsible for. And I think that people need to understand, no one else is responsible for making you happy.
Ooh, you better say that.
Make you happy. And he has to make him happy. Then y'all can be happy in relationship together. Yes. But if you are a negative Nancy and he is a Mr. Jumping joyful guy, and he's in a great space, your negative Nancy self is going to tear this down. And that's not fair. That's going against, it's so emotionally counterproductive. I can't even say it in words. And a lot of times we know these things early. You know that friend is not good for you too, but you still talk to her because something about her kind of cool. But you know she ain't right. You know she don't do other people right, and it make you feel a little kind of way, but you still keep dealing with her. Well, now you are contributing to your own demise within that relationship. You know at some point she's likely going to do what you've seen her do with other people that you've heard her say, that's my girl, that's my friend, that's my friend. You've heard her say these things. She speaks about you that same way, and then you still keep holding on thinking, she wouldn't do me like that. But in the back of your mind, you know that she probably will. So what you're doing is waiting for that moment to happen so you can be like, I can't believe you did that.
Right.
You are going against your own emotional self-care. You're going against your own emotional wellness, because something about things that person does, it makes you feel so inadequate or so distrustful. Don't keep dealing with those people, whether it's a friend, whether it's a relationship, heck, even if it's a family member. Don't keep doing that. That's so emotionally counterproductive. But we've been told, well, I've been knowing this person for a long time. It don't matter. People's seasons run out all the time. Their seasons expire in our lives. And that's okay. It's okay. And you don't have to be messy when the season ends. You could just be like, God, be with that person. Pray for them by name and let them go. That's successfully you contributing to your own emotional wellness. Because the counterproductive thing that we'll do is we'll keep holding on to them and hope they don't mess it up or do nothing too bad. And then, oh, we'll forgive that one. Okay, don't do nothing else now. Okay, one more thing and I'm going to be done. Why does it take so many things? That means that you're saying you're not worthy of having people around you that consistently make you feel like you're enough.
But can I be addicted to that kind of behavior too?
You can be addicted to that kind of behavior, which means that you are operating in dysfunction. It's comfortable for you. If you're addicted to energy that is so dangerous, so emotionally unstable, so counterproductive, that means you're comfortable with dysfunction. And guess what? If you're comfortable with dysfunction, there's always going to be somebody dysfunctional waiting for you. You'll never be by yourself, because there's always going to be someone that's dysfunctional waiting for you to swoop them up and say, I love you, I like you, you know. But is that going to really do you well? You know, and some people will tell me, I was meeting with a client a few weeks ago, and she told me, I literally knew in the first 30 days that my husband would not be the person for me. But he loved me and he had money and he was willing to provide and take care of me and my children. So I stayed with him. And now 25 years later, I don't even know who I am.
Oh my gosh.
Well, because you emotionally, you're telling me in the beginning, you saw the red flags and you emotionally knew that this was not for me. You mentally knew this is not, I'm getting a red flags, I'm seeing them, but you still did it. Okay. So now what you have to realize is, because you contributed to your own sadness, you contributed to your own broken heart, you contributed to your own demise of this situation, own your part in it. Don't blame it all on him. He's exactly who you were when you met him. You knew who he was. You still did it. So you can't say, well, he's a dog, he's awful. Is he? Or is he who he was when you met him? He's who he was. He's been consistent of nothing else. It's you who changed from being in a good space to settling for being in a bad space because it came with security.
Wow.
So
So
we have
Celeste,
to be mindful.
if someone is
Yeah.
asking right now and saying, and just sitting back thinking to themselves, okay, yeah, I really don't know what to do and how to have self-care, how can they find you? How can people reach out to you to say, I need help? I need help.
Yeah, so I love this question because I want people to be able to connect with me if you would like to. On social media, on Facebook, I am Celeste Ngeve, last name Ngeve, Celeste Ngeve. You can hit me up in my inbox. I'm also on Instagram as Celeste Divine, Divine. So CelestDivine. And you can also, realistically, you can email me. I don't have no problem with people emailing me either. And so that's my first name, CelestNgeve@gmail.com. There's a lot of people, they just want to know more about wellness. And if you follow me on Facebook and social media, you'll see me constantly putting information out there about self-care. It's not so taboo now as it used to be. But people are learning more about it. And I want everybody to be well. Let's all get emotionally, financially, spiritually, mentally, practically well. Let's just get good. Let's get socially well. And let's create our care budget. Because everybody can't fit in there. And everybody can't go where God has taken us. And we have to be okay with that. Leave them where they at. Some people got to go.
My favorite thing, Celeste used my own work against me, right? With his my care budget. Because I always do $86,400. If you had in the bank account, how you going to spend it every day? And then you can't carry it with you. You can't take it forward. You have to spend it or it goes away. The bank gives you a new $86,400. And those are seconds in the day, right? You get 86,400 seconds every single day. So who are you spending it with? Do you like the people you're spending it with? If you don't, you may want to relook at your care budget, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you can't get that time back. Your time is valuable. You are valuable. You matter. You matter more than anybody you will ever meet.
So let's ask you one last question, because when you talk about that care budget, you do so many things in self-care. Like you are a artist, both spoken word, and I also see your paintings and books. So what all do you have going on right now? What projects do you have out there?
Oh, great question. So right now I am working on a new book of poetry called The Pink Poems. It's going to come out in September, and it's really about a lot of the different things that we go through as women, just things that we experience. And it's really just saying, this is what it is, period. It's very unapologetic. We edit stuff so much, and it's time to stop editing, friends, because that's not realistic. Take the girdle off, friends. Let's just go ahead and tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So Pink Poems is coming out in September. I'm also working on a collaborative project with a few artists that, I'm not going to speak on just yet, but just know there's going to be some projects coming up. And I'm actually going into the studio very soon this summer to work on the Pink Project CD as well. So it's going to be a spoken word CD that comes along with the book. So I'm very excited about that. I'm also developing a workbook for wellness, a wellness workbook for women, for anybody really. But I know a lot of people that follow me and want to do those things that are women, but it's not saying that men don't, because I have some great male clients, and I think that they're working on wellness too. So I think that's great. So it's going to be a wellness workbook that I'm working on. So I'm excited about that. So yeah.
Awesome. So thank you so much for sharing time
You're
with us
welcome.
for the 19 days of Juneteenth. Self-care was our topic for Say It Saturday. So thank you, Celeste, from the bottom of my heart.
You're welcome.
And on behalf of the Northeast Georgia Business Alliance. You can find the complete schedule with the Northeast Georgia Business Alliance on our website at NEGA. That's the abbreviation for Northeast Georgia. NEGAbusinessalliance.org. Just know that tomorrow is Soulful Sunday. That's our family time that we love to pull people together. We are doing a Netflix watch party, and we're watching the first part of the docuseries, They've Got to Have Us. So click on the Business Alliance website. When you go in there, drop down events. You'll see Juneteenth. If you do not have the Netflix watch party already downloaded, go ahead and do that. And we will start the movie at 6:19. We look forward to having you join us back next week for our last week of 19 Days of Juneteenth, but not the last week of talking about our history. We do that 365. So thank you to our sponsors as well. Our primary sponsor, of course, Northeast Georgia Business Alliance, for having us out here today. MOB Athens. MOB Athens is minority-owned business. It's our online directory, so mobathens.com. If you are looking to support Black businesses, go there. If you don't see a business and you have friends who are out there, make sure they go and sign themselves up for mobathens.com. Special thank you to all of our other sponsors who fall in the line of Rashi Malcolm with Rashi's Cuisine. She also has the Culinary Kitchen. And her farm to kitchen program, I used the recipe that she had in the bag from this week. We made a corn salad. It was amazing. Already ate it up, which shows you how good it was. So that is done. So I need to get a new bag, Rashi. Thank you to Innovative Healthcare Services, which is Dr. Shanice Allen. Also, we'll be sitting here talking to ourselves if we did not have innovative marketing. So thank you so much, Nicole, for all of that as well. We are out today. So you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care and go see what's going on. NEGABusinessalliance.org. Check us out. Thank you, Celeste. Have a good night. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.